This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is not meant to bully or harass anybody. This is the story of Elisa Lam from my eyes, and there's nothing entertaining about the untimely death of this woman. I pretty much followed this from the beginning. I remember the stories of when she went missing and then when they found her in the water tank of the hotel. This is from the Los Angeles Times. Review: Netflix makes rare true crime mixed up with salacious series on LA Cecil Hotel. So there's been a renewed interest in this story, and Netflix even put out a docu-series, and it's 4 parts, and it's over 4 hours long, and there's some things that they did leave out. This is from the hotelbarclay.com. The Hotel Cecil and the Tragedy of Elisa Lam. So the hotel has a long history of death and violence, and I truly believe bloodshed creates portals where the ghosts and demons can come in and out. American Horror Story Hotel was a fictional depiction of the Cecil. I honestly really was disappointed in that. The sex and the gore was way over the top, and this was network TV. This stuff comes on at like 8 or 9 at night where, kids are still awake, and it was just unbelievable. I couldn't get past the blood orgies. They lost me a few episodes in. This is from Wikipedia. Elisa Lam was born on April 30th, 1991. And from my own astrology knowledge, I know that Elisa was a Taurus born in the year of the goat. So Tauruses appreciate beauty. They can be very stubborn. They're very prone to addiction. Unstoppable when they have a focus. People born in the year of the goat really live in their own little world. They're energetic. They have a tendency to annoy people sometimes, and it's hard to understand them. Elisa suffered from bipolar disorder, and a lot of her struggles were put on her Tumblr posts. I know a lot of people almost felt like they got close to her, and she was a friend. And that's what makes this even more sad. I think she was an empath. I think she even had psychic ability. She was very profound and thought way deeper than the average person, and that made it hard for her to get along with other people. And combined with her bipolar disorder, she really struggled. This is from the official coroner's report. This is from autopsyfiles.org. It shows here that Elisa had a bile alcohol content of 0.02%. So she had a tiny trace, and I've been trying to figure out if that might be a byproduct post-mortem. Does that happen naturally? That's a little tiny trace of alcohol, but Elisa was only 115 pounds and she was Asian. Asians have a genetic variant that impairs production of an enzyme that helps metabolize alcohol in the liver, so it hits them extra hard. She also could have had a drug in her system with a short half-life that got burned off pretty quick, and there might have been a time where, the drugs could get out of her body. We'll never know. This is so mysterious. I looked up the side effects of all the medications she was on. She was on 4 different medications to manage her bipolar disorder. Maybe she did find the right combination and was feeling really good with what her doctor had prescribed her. What if that night she mixed it with alcohol? In the Netflix documentary, it says she was not taking her medications as prescribed, but what if she did have a little bit to drink? And remember, she's Asian and she's tiny. It hits you hard, and it could have enhanced the effects of the prescription medications that she was taking that were in her system. This is from drugs.com. I am not going to name the names of the medications, but these are the side effects of one of the antidepressants she was on. Lack or loss of strength, severe headaches, sweating, blurred vision, fast or irregular heartbeat, mood or mental changes, ringing or buzzing in the ears, suicidal thoughts, actions that are out of control, nervousness, talking, feeling, and acting with excitement that you cannot control, trouble breathing, agitation, overactive reflexes, poor coordination, and there's more on that list. That's just one medication. This is also from drugs.com. This is the next antidepressant she was on. Antidepressants increase the risk of suicidal thoughts and behavior in children, adolescents, and young adults in short-term trials. These trials did not show an increase in the risk of suicidal thoughts and behavior with the antidepressant use in subjects over age 24. So they have to put this on there. This is a side effect. Common side effects include anxiety, hyperventilation, irregular heartbeats, irritability, restlessness, shaking, trouble sleeping, confusion, false beliefs that cannot be changed by facts, having extreme distrust of people, seeing, hearing, or feeling things that are not there, seizures, trouble concentrating, actions that are out of control, anger, assaulting or attacking others, being aggressive or impulsive, inability to sit still, talking, feeling, or acting with excitement. So she might have been in a manic state of her bipolar disorder, but in these side effects, specifically it says a rare side effect, false beliefs that cannot be changed by facts. And she was putting little notes on her roommate's bed saying, "Get out," or "You're not wanted here." And she was actually kicked out of that suite and moved to her own private room. The next medication she was on was an antipsychotic. Side effects include confusion, sleepiness, slowed movements, changes in patterns and rhythms of speech, inability to sit still, lip smacking or puckering, loss of balance control, mask-like face, irritability, tingling of the hands and feet, and those are just a few of the side effects. Long-term use of antipsychotics can cause something called tardive dyskinesia, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is a permanent side effect. It's like a tic. So have you ever seen people in public and they can't stop moving their tongue around or making a weird face? They might have this, and this is caused by long-term use of antipsychotics. You can see the repetitive motions with her hands and her mouth. And then you can't get rid of this. And you can't get rid of this. There might be medicine to ease the symptoms, but you have it forever. You have these little facial tics after long-term use of these drugs. This next drug is an anticonvulsant. Side effects include fast, slower pounding heartbeats or fluttering in your chest, headache, neck stiffness, blurred vision, tremor, fever, drowsiness, back pain, sleep problems, anxiety, confusion, continuous uncontrolled back and forth or rolling eye movements, depression, constipation, increase in seizures, infection, irritability. There's all kinds of side effects from these medications, and she was taking 4 different kinds. Is there a study with all 4 of those medications to see how they interact, and how do they interact with maybe a little bit of alcohol? It could have been the tapering off. It could have been the abrupt discontinuation of the drugs that caused the psychotic-like behaviors and the manic state. Elisa was a free spirit and quite naive. She had never been to a place like Skid Row. Witnesses described her behavior as manic. If I remember the phrase correctly, she said, "LA is crazy and so am I." She was completely out of her element, and I didn't think she knew what to do. She might have had a little bit of alcohol in her. There was always something new with this case I didn't know about. In the Netflix series, they talk about this man named Morbid, everything you need to know about the man falsely accused of killing Elisa Lam, and this is from moviemaker.com. So he's a black metal musician, and the internet went after him because I think he made some kind of reference to the Cecil Hotel. Turns out he wasn't even in the country at the time. And in listening to his interview, I thought he was actually very likable and intelligent. He reminded me of myself in some ways, seeing the beauty in the darkness. I don't run around the grocery store in, face paint, but I could relate to him. The Netflix series failed to get into details with the graffiti on the roof at the crime scene. So in the show, it does talk about how there were cigarette butts and beer bottles all up there on the roof. I think it was a hidden party spot, and Elisa accessed it by going through the window. And I think it was just a secret little hiding spot, and people knew how to get up there. And I think she might have been partying with some people that she didn't know, and they could have preyed on her. This phrase is in Latin. It says summa fecto cant her. In Latin, it means she was a perfect cunt. What an awful phrase. Here again, you can see the graffiti here again near the water tank, and it's the same phrase, except this one has a C instead of a K in fecto. And strangely, it has like those 3 little lines coming off of the T, almost like the sun, or I even think of like smell, like in a cartoon, it has the stinky lines. When the A is like how you would see it on a typewriter. This is Old Latin, a language that is not spoken. It is the official language of Rome. And Elisa went missing in 2013, and the date here is 2012, but who knows? And also you can see that long R. That might mean something. So I actually consulted a couple of graffiti artists. I know 2 people in real life that were heavily involved in the graffiti culture back in the early 2000s. I sent them these pictures, and this is the feedback they gave me. First graffiti artist said, looks a lot like a fat marker. It's not horrible, but it's not well done. It's possibly gang related. Looks like someone has done it before. It is more of a marking and not artistic. The person that wrote it is not in it for the art. And graffiti is done where people could see it. So this is on top of the roof and nobody can really see it. When I told him it's written in Latin, he said, how many graffiti artists are known for writing in Latin? Graffiti is usually self-promotion with a name. They want other graffiti artists to see it. It could be marking of a territory. It could be a place of illegal activity. It could be just to be edgy or offend. The person that wrote it could have English as their second language. It's from the second graffiti artist. Lettering style feels Hispanic or West Coast. I definitely say the guy is experienced. Japanese style down to right and orderly. To even grasp that concept, especially in graffiti, takes time. The location, why? Who's going to see it there? Who took the picture? Do the people in that building see it backwards? Tons of questions there. Maybe an Asian dude did it. The graffiti on the roof may have absolutely nothing to do with her disappearance, but it's absolutely bizarre. Bringing up the possibility this could have been a ritual killing is a very unpopular opinion, and it will get you mocked in true crime group discussions online. But there's very strange coincidences that I need to talk about. This is the list of satanic holidays from the OpenScroll.com. Coincidentally, January 20th through 27th is the abduction, ceremonial preparation, holding of a sacrificial victim for Candlemas. It's a sexual and blood ritual and involves female or child of any age. St. Agnes Eve is the casting of spells. Then February 2nd is Candlemas. It's the Sabbath festival, blood ritual, animal or human sacrifice. February 2nd is also Satanic Revels, sexual ritual with oral, anal, or vaginal emphasis on the ritual. And that's exclusively female victim. Just an absolute strange coincidence. But what if somebody involved in the cult met up with Elisa Lam? Remember, she was very small, about 115 pounds. She was manic. not thinking straight, extremely excited about being in a new place. This is Sloan Bella from sloanbella.com. She also has a YouTube channel. She claims to be able to contact the dead. There is an episode on YouTube where she channels Elisa Lam, and I'll post that down below for you. She says Elisa was a very energetic free spirit, and she was looking for love on this trip. It was a trip to go find herself and possibly find a love interest in her life. I think Elisa was way too trusting, and maybe she was seduced by someone. She could have met up with somebody who had a father in... From bodylanguagesuccess.com. This is the body language analysis of Elisa Lam. I've watched a lot of these videos. So at first in the video, she's almost flirting, and then she becomes panicked. There is a part where her mouth looks pixelated, and it could be the poor video quality, but to me, it looks like she's talking to someone, and it pixelates her mouth. Her mouth looks pixelated right here to me. From popsugar.com. What's the elevator game? Here's the creepy ritual linked to the Elisa Lam case. If you press, according to this article, if you press the elevator buttons in a certain sequence, you're gonna end up in another dimension. Must be done late at night with nobody around. Full moon is preferred. And I'll link you the article if you really want to know. I wouldn't try any of this at home. It sounds silly, but don't be messing around with stuff like that. And that's my presentation on the Elisa Lam case. I hope someday it will be solved. This case hurts my heart. And I hope you all have a good night. Thank you so much for watching me, and I'll see you next time.